This CameraRC Deluxe tutorial provides details on configuring the file save options for saving captured images. As images are saved to the computer, the name of the file saved is shown on the Save Details tab. We can get to the file save options by opening the main options window or by using the Setup button on the Save Details tab. The file save options allows the saving of settings for later use. In this tutorial, we are going to configure a new set of settings. We start by selecting a base from one of the existing settings and then save that with a new name. Once saved, the new settings can be selected from the drop-down list. To use a camera name as part of the file naming, check the Use Camera File Name option. Note that for the camera name to be used, the save media must be set to Computer plus Camera, and that this setting is not available on some older Nikon models. The camera folder name can also be used as part of the file save path. Note that the sample name currently also contains the word image from the file name. By removing the file name and subpath will match that of the camera. In our example, we will not be using the camera file name in the path, so we will disable this option and change the Save Media option to Computer only. One other general save option that can be set is the option to save a backup copy of the image. Check the Save a Backup Mirror Copy option to enable. To set a path for the RAW or JPEG image, use the folder selector and select a path. In addition to the folder path, a subfolder can be configured that provides a dynamic path. For example, by using the current date as part of the path. We will also want to put our file name back in at this point. Notice that you can modify the number of digits in the sequence number as well as the sequence starting number for the file. Setting up of the RAW path is done in the same manner as configuring the JPEG path. Note that the RAW and JPEG images can be saved at different locations and with the same or different file names. Separate sequence and starting numbers can also be set. Finally, we can configure saving of the mirror or backup copy of the image. The mirror copy can be set to use the same image names as are used for the primary, while using different path names for saving of the images. The various path and file name options work in the same way for the mirror copy as they do for the primary images. We can see that the new and old settings are now available and can be selected as desired. Now that we have set up the file save options, we can capture a new image and see how the file path for the raw image will point to the new file save path that we have just configured. Going back to the file save options, we'll now demonstrate how to create and use a subfolder path. Click on the Edit button to start the subfolder editor. The subfolder settings has a format selection that is the configuration you are editing. We can create a new format by clicking on the Save button. The Save dialog box pops open and allows saving with the existing or a new format name. We can now add format items to the list by selecting an item and clicking the Add button. When we add the date, we can then select a format for the date from the list of items. Notice how the sample name changes as we make changes to the format. To make a valid path, we add a separator from the format items. We can then move the separator up in the format list so that we now have a path with a month as a subdirectory. We can continue to create a more complex path by adding in additional elements. For example, we will add the camera model as part of the path, along with some specific text. The camera model is a dynamic field that changes based on the camera model that is currently connected. Finally, we will add some additional separators between the path elements so that we construct a valid path. Once we have completed any changes to the format, we must again save the format with its existing name before exiting the Subfolder Settings dialog. Now that we are done creating the new subfolder, we can select the new subfolder as part of the path. Note that the new formats are available for use in the JPEG and RAW paths as well as for the mirror copies. Thanks again for checking out this CameraRC Deluxe tutorial.